This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
RD, I would guess that your job's going to ramp up starting really tonight when the announcement becomes official and John Calipari is introduced in Bud Walton Arena. We've gotten multiple texts throughout the week about how much recruiting is going to ramp up. Have you had conversations? I know from people close to Terrion Burgess that he has a lot of respect for what John Calipari did at Kentucky. Have you had any in-state recruits or any recruits outside the state that have maybe reached out to you about the incoming news?
No, I mean, I really haven't reached out just yet. I figure, once it's official and everything, that's when I'll start doing that. But obviously, I mean, any kid's going to have interest and be intrigued by Arkansas. I mean, I think that's been the case with Muss, but obviously it's a different level now. So it's going to be interesting. I do know a certain five-star and I do know about a certain five-star that had interest in Arkansas when Muss was here. And I think it's going to be even more so now with Calipari.
Richard Davenport with us on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Have you ever seen a situation anywhere where a coach takes over a program or a roster gets to the point where there's no players left that aren't in the portal and no commits? Have you ever seen a clean slate like John Calipari will take over?
Yeah, great situation, huh?
Well,
but
it could be. Have you ever seen anything like this,
kidding. Though? No. I mean, well, we're so early in the process of, the NIL and the portal and the ability of kids to be able to just transfer, so easily. So, I made this point on our message board the other day that I really haven't researched it very much. I assume there's been some similar situations, maybe not, you having to replace all 13 guys, but I really haven't looked at it in depth and looked at other schools. I mean, this has really only been going on for 2 or 3 years, so it's a new situation, and I'd be interested to really know what other schools maybe had a similar situation. Maybe not all 13 spots open, but a complete turnover of the roster. But at the same time, I have to think that some of the guys that went into the portal, if Calipari is interested, there may be a possibility of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 wanting to come back. I have no idea. I haven't really checked into that, but it's going to be pretty crazy for quite some time to see him fill this roster up again.
We've not taken one call, and Ty, I don't think we've seen one text concerned about the status of your roster. Everybody just assumes John Calipari can come in and just easily fix this with 13 phone calls. Am I wrong to have a little reservation about that task? Because as great a coach and recruiter as he's been, this is a task we've never seen completed in this kind of timeline.
Yeah, it's definitely uncharted territory. I mean, especially for Arkansas, I tend to think it's going to be easier for him than say, a lesser known coach. I mean, we're talking about the most high profile college coach in the country, and so he's not going to have a problem having guys, take his call. So I think that obviously helps. We're going to find out. It's going to be very interesting. What if he fills it up, quicker than we anticipated? I would think that we go into June with, not a complete roster, but what if he fills it up pretty quickly with, maybe 1 or 2 guys that entered the portal from here and some guys that have entered the portal or will enter the portal from Kentucky, then brings in some of his guys that he signed in the 24 class or has committed. So it's going to be it's going to be a wild ride.
I think I think that Jerome Tain at Kansas State and McMahon at LSU had similar situations that Arkansas now finds itself in. And recently, those are the ones that kind of came to mind.
LSU and K-State.
For LSU and K-State. Richard,
you look at what Tain did the first year.
Elite Eight.
Yeah, I don't think the empty roster is necessarily a bad deal. but I think to have a little bit of nervousness about it is okay. So walk us through the timeline. You got the portal open now, and then it closes May 1st. Walk us through the timelines that are important through this process with the portal.
Well, you have a dead period now. It's been a dead period from the 4th and goes to the 11th, and then after that, it's back to normal. You start having visitors. You can start having in-home visits. And then obviously, like you said, the portal's open till the 1st, and then really visits stop June 30th. So from the 12th to June 30th, it's just normal. You can have kids on campus. You can visit them and evaluate. So it's obviously going to heat up pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, and also walk through the process with me, because it was explained to me by someone up there yesterday. When you come out of the portal and you quote sign with a school, you're signing as it was put to be, a financial aid agreement, which binds the school to what they're going to give the player. But the player could sign multiple agreements of those, and he's not bound. He or she not bound by that. The school's the one that's bound. So a player that, even though they have quote signed with another school, is not bound because of the way the financial aid agreement is structured. Is that a correct understanding?
That is correct. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is correct. They are not bound to that school until the first day of fall classes. I'll double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's still the case. I don't think even when you get into summer classes that you're bound to that particular school.
Which means he could get players from other schools all throughout the summer.
Yeah, and that could be true, but you usually don't see too many kids, jump from a school if they're enrolled even during the summer. But we're talking John Calipari, so who knows?
Yeah.
Talking with Richard Davenport on the McCarty Daniel Hotline. So, Richard, I think one of my hot takes this morning is I bet we see a commitment for Arkansas by Friday. When should Arkansas fans expect to start seeing some commits to the basketball program, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that could possibly happen. I mean, evidently Carter Knox, the 4-star / 5-star prospect from Overtime Elite, is it's talked about being a guy that is of the 24 class the most likely to join Calipari. So, and I would imagine some of the others will probably do the same. I would guess. Don't know, but I mean, I think that's a possibility. But at the same time, I think it'd be smart if the kids visited. So I wouldn't doubt if we see some visitors this weekend.
How do you think Cal moves forward with recruiting? Because he got the top player in Kentucky last year, and he had the other one committed to Kentucky this year. I mean, we mentioned Terrion Burgess. You've also got Isaiah Sealy, some other guys in the state. How do you think he approaches in-state recruiting here in Arkansas?
Yeah, that's going to see. We'll find out. Obviously, his way of doing things is getting the elite of the elite, and obviously we think well of our in-state guys, and they're very highly touted in the 25 and 26 classes. So I tend to think that he'll take a heavy look at them. I mean, when you got talent like that in your backyard, and I think, obviously, I don't know if he's going to retain Ronnie Brewer or not, but Ronnie Brewer would be a huge, help, and being able to, help him get that relationship going with those kids. So I tend to think that you obviously look at those guys in state and evaluate and make a decision. And he's done well with some Kentucky guys that were not necessarily the highest rated. So I think he just based on that, I tend to think that he takes a heavy look at in-state guys, and he understands, in Kentucky being a Wildcat is something special, and obviously in Arkansas being a Razorback is the same.
Yeah. All of our jobs just got a little more interesting. Hey, quick before you go, read a note last week, wanted to ask you about it this week. Barry Odom's son has moved back from Nevada to play high school football at Fayetteville High School. Is that all correct, and kind of what's behind that move?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, his grandparents live nearby, I think in Oklahoma, and he and his wife wanted the grandparents to be able to watch him play, and obviously much easier than having to go to Vegas. And another thing, the school that he was at didn't allow or didn't have the situation where they could he could enroll early. So at Fayetteville, he can enroll in college in December. At his old school, he wasn't able to do that. So I think that was also a consideration. And also, you're talking about a young man that went to high school or was going to school at obviously at Shiloh Christian, has a lot of friends in Northwest Arkansas. So I think all those things kind of played into that.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.